second thing I'm going to have for you is a craft. So I'm going to take a minute here to show you the craft. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a very simple kind of version of a Roman Missal. So let me show you how to make that craft here. What I started with to make my little Roman Missal is I had a piece of just kind of regular red construction paper. And then I cut it in half because I'm just going to make a smaller version. So I have a half piece of construction paper, and I'll just fold it in half for now. And then on the front, I'll write Roman Missal. If you remember on the Roman Missal I showed you in the sacristy, they also put some decorations on, so if you want to put on some symbols on here, please feel free to do that. I'm just going to put a cross on the top of mine for my decoration, but you can add more decorations. Maybe you want to add some like trim around the edge to make it look kind of fancier, and then you'll color it in something else later. To start, I'm just using a pencil, but then I'm going to trace it over in marker maybe later. So I'm going to put that to the side for now. And then I started with a piece of just regular computer paper. And then I folded it in half this way. So not the long skinny way, but the wider way, kind of like a book. I folded it in half and then I cut it in half. So that then I ended up with two pieces of paper. These two papers I'm just going to stack on top of each other. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can either stack them and then fold them in half together. Again, the wider way, not to make. We don't want a skinny little book, you know, a tall skinny book, but kind of a fat wide or a short wider book. So you can do that where you fold it, and that would work fine. Or you can take those two pieces of paper. You can fold them in half like we did before. And then if you want to, you could even cut them in half so that you have 4 different pages. It depends how you want to staple your Roman Missal booklet. So if you want it to be stapled like this, you're going to need to take your red paper that's folded in half and also cut it in half. Along the edge. Probably would work better if you had it sitting down, but so that you can see it. And then you can just put the pages in right here. And then you can stick the other page on top. And then, making sure they're lined up, you can just take a stapler and do a staple there. Staple didn't go all the way through. And another staple here. And then you'll see the staples on the outside of the book, and then you'll have a little booklet. Or if you want to do it without cutting but just folding, the stapling is just a little harder. So you'll take your pages that aren't cut and you'll put them inside of your Roman Missal. And then when you staple, though, you're going to have to put the booklet into your stapler. And see, mine isn't quite long enough. So that's the tricky thing, is then you're going to get a little fold in your book. I would do that on the back side. So you're going to kind of have to fold it to get it in there. And then staple it down in the middle. But then you don't see the staples so much. So you can do it either way. So I'll use this booklet to finish up here. So now that we have the Roman Missal and the pages, or the cover and the pages, I'm going to open up, and on the first page I'll write Introductory Rites. Gonna have to really watch your spelling there. Introductory rites. Okay, and then we're just gonna write some of the words that we say during the introductory rite. So we'll write the part of the priest. So I'll put a P there for the priest. I'm just gonna write peace be with you. And I'll put an A for all, so everybody says this. We say, and with your spirit. You could put a little cross up here to help us remember that we start with the sign of the cross. Okay, so that's what I want to write for the introductory rites, to kind of help us remember that it's that kind of starting the Mass, saying hello. Okay, now I'm going to flip the page. I'm not going to use the back side. I'm just going to use the front sides. And now I'm going to write the liturgy of the word. Liturgy of the word. Okay. During the liturgy of the word, this is when we hear the reading, so I'm going to write the two different responses. So I'm going to put an R for the reader, who says the word of the, at the end he says the word, he or she says the word of the Lord. And we all say, thanks be to God. And then for the gospel, the priest says, the gospel of the Lord at the end. And we say, praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. So those are the responses we say at the end of the readings. Now I'm going to go, do you remember the next part of the Mass? So we had the introductory rites, liturgy of the word. Now we're going to have the liturgy of the Eucharist. And for the liturgy of the Eucharist, let's write the words that the priest says to change the bread and wine into Jesus' body and blood. So we'll put, this is my body. And he says more, so we'll just put little dots after that. And then he says, this is the chalice of my blood. And then he there's more to be said, but we'll put those basic words. So there's the liturgy of the Eucharist, and now we just have one part left of the Mass, the concluding rites. If something is concluded, it's finished. It's over. So the concluding, excuse me. That's why I like to write in pencil first, and I can trace it later. Concluding rites. And for this one, I want to put, the priest says, go and announce, there's a tricky word, announce, there's that ow in the middle of a word, and then s is made by the C because it has that E after it. Go and announce the gospel of the Lord. And we say, do you remember? Yeah, thanks be to God. So now we have just a little reminder of the four parts of the Mass. You can either keep this in a prayer corner, or you can put glue on the backside and glue it into your religion notebook. Okay, you can add some details now that you could add some artwork on the pages. Remember how the pages sometimes had artwork? Maybe you want to draw a picture of the Bible over here. Maybe you're going to draw a picture of the Eucharist with the liturgy of the Eucharist. Maybe you can draw you going out and announcing God's gospel here. I also might even trace over my decorations and words on the front in a marker, so you could do that if you'd like to. Make it kind of fancy letters if you like. Another thing you can do, if you have some ribbon like this or another kind of ribbon at home, you can cut a piece of ribbon, and then you can take a piece of tape and you can just put it on the ribbon. and then tape it to the back top of your Roman Missal. And then you can have this, you can have a little ribbon that also goes into your Roman Missal, just like the one in the sacristy. So you can go ahead and add those decorations if you like to, and then either glue this in your religion notebook or keep it in a prayer corner at home to help you remember the 4 parts of the Mass.